You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. I am Sosan Ali, and here are tonight's main headlines. Latest satellite images show the beginning of the tropical conditions' impacts on parts of the Far Governorate. Omani voters living abroad start casting their votes to elect Shura Council members for the 10th term through Antakhib application. And the National Emergency Management Committee decides to evacuate the residents of Al-Hallaniyat Islands in the Far Governorate and the coastal areas in the wilayas of Salalah, Rakhiut and Dolkut. Latest satellite images show the beginning of the impact over parts of the Far Governorate as evictions of clouds and varied intensity rain during the last few hours. While the weather charts analysis at the National Multi-Hazards and Early Warning Center indicate that the tropical cyclone Tej of Category 3 lay centered on latitude 13.32 north and longitude 54.4 east and is around 400 kilometers from the nearest coast of Oman. Wind speed around the center is estimated to be between 100 to 112 knots, and the nearest rainy clouds mass is estimated to be 140 kilometers away from the coast of the Wilaya of Sedah. The forecasters suggested that the system will continue to move west-northwest towards the coast of the Far Governorate and the Republic of Yemen, specifically Al-Mahra Governorate, and is likely to further intensify into Category 4 cyclone within the upcoming 24 hours. The direct impact is expected to increase on the Far and Al-Wusta Governorates during the next hours of tonight, with heavy rainfall between 50 and 150 millimeters, with expected flows of wadis. The sea waves are expected to be rough, ranging between 4 to 7 meters. In addition, storm surge might cause seawater inundation over low-level coastal areas. The Civil Aviation Authority calls upon everyone to take maximum precautions, not to risk crossing wadis, and to stay away from low areas. It also advises to avoid riding by the sea during this period. To give us the latest updates on the tropical cyclone Tej, we have with us here from the National Multi-Hazards Early Warning Center, our reporter Saleh bin Khalfan Al-Rahbi. Good evening, Saleh. Saleh, what can you tell us about the latest developments of the tropical cyclone Tej?
Thank you, Sosan. So the effects of Cyclone Tej have already started in wilayas of Sadah, Mirbat and Al-Hallaniyat Islands, with the advection of clouds and also heavy rain, isolated rain actually, and some wadis have already started to flow. To have further developments and updates on this cyclone, I have here with me Jafar bin Hamad Al-Busaidi. He's the director of Forecasting and Early Warning Center at the Civil Aviation Authority. Jafar, give us the latest developments of Cyclone Tej.
The cyclone Tej is still in Category 3, and the effect as it started from today, we are expecting at the night it will intensify maybe, and we are expecting 50 to 150 millimeters tomorrow and after tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday. We are expecting the rain to be heavy and the wind will be very strong, and we are expecting the wind to be between 40 to 70 knots in Monday and Tuesday, and also today we have some records now. We have about 10 to 15 millimeters in some stations, that with the CAA.
According to your analysis, Jafar, do you expect Cyclone Tej will intensify or will it downgrade?
The cyclone is still in Category 3. We are expecting in the coming hours it will intensify to Category 4, and as it is coming closer to the land, it will start to downgrade to Category 2, and then it will cross maybe between Dhafar and Al Yemen as Category 1.
And when do you expect this cyclone in particular to make landfall?
The cyclone we are expecting on Tuesday, it will go through Al-Mahra governorate in Yemen, and it will cross as cyclone category 1 or a severe tropical storm.
Okay. And what about the areas that will be affected as a result of this tropical cyclone?
We are expecting mostly the wilayat and the coastal of Dhafar and also in the mountains. And the main effect will be on Al-Mazyuna and Dhalkut, Rakhyut wilayats, and also in Salalah, Mirbat, Sadah, and Taqa, also in Al-Ghazar, as all these wilayas will get affected directly by the wall of the cyclone, and we are expecting strong wind, and also the wave will be between 6 to 12 meters. Also, we are expecting about 200 to 500 millimeters in the coming days.
Any piece of advice you would like to give to the public in particular that they might focus on the center of the cyclone, but they forget the wall of the cyclone?
Yes, mostly the most dangerous part of the cyclone is the wall. So we are giving the public to make precautions and not to go outside at the time of the strong wind and the heavy rain. Also, we have some flash floods, some wadis, and also floods in the middle of the low-lying areas. So we are expecting that the public will get precautions and also not going out at the time of the impact or the direct impact of the cyclone.
Thank you, Jafar. So son, that was Jafar bin Hamad Al-Busaidi, Director of Forecasting and Early Warning Center at the Civil Aviation Authority. And the meteorologists here at the Civil Aviation Authority, they expect that the cyclone will intensify in the coming 12 hours with chances that it will downgrade as it will come closer to the land, and some heavy rains will continue also until Wednesday. That's it for now, Sosan. And back to you now with the rest of the news at the studios.
Thank you, Saleh. That was our reporter Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi updating us on the latest developments of Cyclone Tej. The National Committee for Emergency Management held a meeting today under the chairmanship of General Hassan bin Muhsin al-Shariqi, Inspector General of Police and Customs, Chairman of the committee. The meeting reviewed the preparations undertaken to deal with the tropical cyclone Tej. The committee was also briefed by experts from the National Multi-Hazards Early Warning Center of the Civil Aviation Authority on numerical readings and possible effects that can be caused by the tropical cyclone. Further, the committee highlighted precautionary measures undertaken in various sectors. The committee reiterated the sustainability of the public services and the readiness of the shelters, as well as ensuring the availability of food and medical supplies. Moreover, the committee took several decisions, including the evacuation of residents from Al-Hallaniyat Islands and coastal areas in the wilayas of Salalah, Rakhyut, and Dhalkut. Al-Shariqi urged the committee's members to take all necessary steps to support response operations and to provide all the required resources and capacities in all places that are expected to be impacted by the tropical cyclone. Media and Public Awareness Sector at the National Emergency Management Committee presented its readiness to deal with the tropical cyclone Tej and its expected impacts on the Dhafar Governorate. This was discussed in a meeting at the Ministry of Information, which included a detailed explanation of the developments of the tropical cyclone and its expected paths in the coming hours. It also reviewed the plans for public awareness and field preparations to handle the cyclone Tej and its impacts. During the meeting, it was emphasized that all forms of media, including print, audio, visual, electronic, and supporting tools, are prepared to handle the impacts and developments of the tropical cyclone Tej. It highlighted the efforts made by response sectors and stressed the importance of obtaining information from reliable sources to prevent the spread of rumors. The meeting was attended by His Excellency Dr. Abdullah bin Nasser Al-Harrasi, Minister of Information, several officials from the Ministry of Information, and representatives of private media platforms. The main military committee for emergency management of the Sultan's Armed Forces continues holding meetings to review the preparations and the readiness to deal with the tropical cyclone Tej. The Sultan's armed forces reiterated its readiness and that it will be harnessing all capabilities to tackle the effects of the tropical cyclone. This stems from the Sultan's armed forces' keenness to provide support to public units and other sectors in emergency situations, as per the plan of the National Committee for Emergency Management. Members of the main military committee were briefed on the preparations and precautions undertaken since the announcement of the tropical cyclone Tej. Military subcommittees have been activated in areas that are expected to be affected by the tropical cyclone. During the meeting, the committee highlighted the readiness of all formations, bases, and units of Sultan's armed forces and other departments in the Ministry of Defense to provide support to citizens and residents as per the situation's demands. Moreover, the Military Subcommittee for Emergency Management met in the Governorate of Dhofar. During the meeting, the subcommittee showcased the efforts exerted by all deployed units and means of dealing with the expected effects of the tropical cyclone Tej, according to the plan of the main military committee for emergency management. Meanwhile, the main military committee confirmed its continuous monitoring of the development of the tropical cyclone. The Subcommittee for Emergency Management in the Governorate of Dhofar discussed the latest developments related to the tropical's condition and the readiness of all sectors in emergency management system. That came during the meeting of the subcommittee in the Governorate of Dhofar, which stressed on the necessity of sticking to instructions issued by official bodies like avoiding the crossing of wadis and staying at home. The committee pointed out that it has made an evacuation plan in the areas that are expected to be directly affected by the tropical condition, along with preparing shelters in these areas. The Medical Response and Public Health sector in the National Emergency Management Committee stressed the importance of taking proactive measures to deal with the health cases that may require assistance and anticipating any challenges that may hinder the provision of healthcare services during the expected tropical cyclone and beyond. The sector also discussed the preparations made during the current tropical cyclone affecting Dhofar and Al-Wasta governorates, including plans related to healthcare services, hospitals, equipment, and the provision of medicines, medical and nursing staff, and other services required during and after the cyclone. Due to the adverse climate conditions and in coordination with the National Committee for Emergency Management, the 23rd and the 24th of October 2023 are declared as an official leave for employees of units of the state's administrative apparatus and other legal entities and establishments of the private sector in the Governorate of Dhofar and the Wilaya of Al-Jazir and Al-Wasta Governorate. Employers may agree on terms to engage employees on the said holiday if deemed necessary due to the nature of their work, provided they take all safety and necessary precautions and are compensated for the leave. The Republic of Yemen completed all preparations to deal with the possible effects of the tropical cyclone on Al-Mahra Governorate. An emergency committee was formed, including various bodies concerned and executive offices like the civil defense, security, army, health, development, and water sectors. Alerts were issued and 30 shelters were prepared in all parts of the governorate. Work is going on at an accelerated pace, and all basic services were provided. Omani voters living abroad casted their votes today to elect Shura Council members for the 10th term through the Intakhib application. The Ministry of Interior stated that the voters must ensure that their name is registered in the electoral register, download the new version of the application, and must have an original ID card and a smartphone to be able to cast their votes. The electoral process witnessed the launch of the second version of the Intakhib application, which is characterized by an easy and simple user interface and a high level of security using the latest technologies in the field of encryption. To give us the latest updates on the voting process from outside the Sultanate of Oman, we have with us live from the Ministry of Interior our reporter Ahmed bin Hilal Al Busaidi. Good evening, Ahmed. Can you update us on what's going on with the voting process?
Yes, good evening, Sosan, and good evening to all our viewers from the Sultanate of Oman and abroad. Of course, this is a special national event happening here on the 22nd. This is the first leg, and then we have also the 29th, Sosan, with the second leg, where people cast their votes, the citizens of the Sultanate of Oman cast their votes in this beautiful picture put together. So it's another beautiful national event, as I said, and everyone gets to cast their votes and choose the representative for their wilaya in the upcoming 10th term of the Shura councils. So we have with us here Dr. Abir bint Muhammad Al-Hajri, who is the head of the election committee from the Ministry of Interior, and we have just closed the numbers at 7 p.m. So we welcome her to talk to us about the updates for the Shura Council elections and what did the final numbers for today, Dr. show, the 22nd of October.
Good evening, Mr. Ahmed, and good evening to everybody. Today's elections, which started for voters from outside Oman, started at 8 a.m. and ends at 7 p.m. We just closed the voting or the election system. Since the morning, there was a good turnout. In the first hour, we had around 2,000 votes for the first hour only, and hopefully by now we reach around 13,843, where 9,000 of those are male voters and more than 3,500 are for female voters.
Yes, so 13,000 plus. Now we do want to know, this is the first leg, the 22nd of October, for the people voting outside the Sultanate of Oman. Any tips that you have for the 29th of October when people are voting here locally from inside the Sultanate of Oman using the application?
I would recommend for the voters from inside Oman to try at least the application before the 29th. So I would suggest to download the application. Try to take the pictures of the civil ID and then from front and the back. Try to read the personal data using the NFC and try to make sure that the NFC is activated on your phones. After that, maybe take a picture and check if your information are validated. And if you face any issues during this period, you can directly call the call center here at the Ministry of Interior. That will help you on that day, which will speed up the process. Also, make sure that the voting on the 29th of October will start also from 8 a.m. and will end at 7 p.m. So make sure that your voting is casted during that period.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Dr. Abir. One final question is regarding, as you are the head of the committee, regarding what happened within the committee. How did they find the full-on process? Was it straightforward? Did you face any challenges?
Alhamdulillah, there was not that. I mean, I will not say there are challenges. Yes, some people, while they are trying to vote, they face some problems in regard to, technical issues. In regard to, for example, I cannot verify my ID card, or I cannot read it, or for example, I cannot use the NFC. So all these processes, when they called or try to communicate through the social media, they have been, assessed directly at that moment. So I don't call these challenges, but we were happy to have a few of these calls. Yeah.
Yes, so Dr. Abir bint Muhammad Al-Hajri, the head of the elections committee here within the Ministry of Interior, has shown us a positive image. So 13,000 plus for the first time happens here in the Shura Council. It's a beautiful number that indicates the increase of awareness within the Omani community in terms of voting, and we're waiting for the second leg, which would be on the 29th, inshallah, the upcoming Sunday. Those are the updates that we have for you. Sosan, back to you in the news center.
Thank you, Ahmed. That was our reporter Ahmed bin Hilal Al Busaidi, live from the Ministry of Interior. His Excellency Sayyid Hamoud bin Faisal Al Busaidi, Minister of Interior, held a meeting today with the main committee of Shura Council's 10th term elections. During the meeting, His Excellency praised the committee's dedication to its mission and its role in coordinating with other committees. He confirmed the readiness of the ministry, committees, and working teams for the voting process. The main committee for Shura Council elections, chaired by His Excellency Engineer Khalid bin Hilal al-Busaidi, Under-Secretary of the Ministry of Interior, touched on the roles of the committee in following up the electoral process of the voters outside of the Sultanate of Oman, which is carried out today via Intakhib application. The committee also highlighted the preparations for the voting day inside the Sultanate of Oman, which falls on Sunday, the 29th of October. The Ministry of Health signed an agreement to provide a magnetic resonance imaging device for Sur Hospital by Oman LNG Company. This agreement comes within the framework to support the goals of the Ministry of Health to reduce the waiting lists as well as to diagnose and treat patients as soon as possible. The agreement was signed by His Excellency Dr. Hilal bin Ali Al-Sebti, Minister of Health. The third training workshop for preventing and combating infection was organized by the Ministry of Health. The workshop witnessed a participation from a number of departments and Directorate Generals for Health Services in the governorates and heads of health institutions. It dealt with the latest developments in the related fields and aims to enhance the prevention practices to combat infection, in addition to raise the levels of efficiency of healthcare and patient safety. The 10th edition of Higher Education Training and Career Exhibition, EDU Track Oman, was launched in Oman Convention and Exhibition Center. Here's a report.
More than 100 educational and training institutions from 15 countries are showcasing their services, admission requirements, and the key specializations they offer in the 10th edition of the Higher Education and Training Exhibition EduTrack Oman, which began at the Oman Convention and Exhibition Center.
We are happy to see such exhibitions. This actually gives a chance to the parents, to the students. Those are pre-university level. This gives them a chance to meet universities' representatives, to talk to them, to ask their questions, to get their answers. And this will give them alternatives to know more about the programs they are offering. Also, this gives a chance to the universities themselves, either local universities or the others, to talk about themselves, to answer the questions, to present their programs. And this actually gives more chance to them to be aware of what they are planning, so they can later on put their choice according to the information, real information from the real resources.
The exhibition features a wide range of exhibitors from universities, colleges, training institutes, and employers from within Oman and abroad. It allows interested individuals and visitors to explore the latest educational and training programs available. Additionally, attendees can meet with representatives from higher education institutions to discuss admission criteria, scholarship opportunities, and participate in workshops and seminars on various topics such as career planning, entrepreneurship, and the latest education technologies.
Oman Tourism College, considered to be the leading higher education institute in the country, providing several bachelor and diploma degrees, and also training specific program for different tourism organizations, including hotel and travel agencies and airlines. The college hosts several students from several countries and provide an excellent international, multi-international education, higher education environment.
We are participating today in this exhibition to educate and also to make aware the students about different programs that we have in our college, namely nursing program, physiotherapy program, medical imaging, medical laboratory sciences, pharmacy, and medical information administration.
EduTrack Oman plays a vital role in promoting the education and training sector in the Sultanate of Oman, providing a unique platform for students, parents, professionals and employers to explore various opportunities within this sector.
In its 8th edition, the State Policy Foundations and Guiding Principles program reviewed the constants of the Sultanate of Oman's foreign policy and its positions on current regional and international issues. The training program, which began at the Diplomatic Academy at the Foreign Ministry, is organized by the Ministry of Labor over a period of 5 days with the participation of senior departments in government units. The opening ceremony was held under the auspices of His Excellency Sayyid Salim bin Msallam al-Busaidi, Under Secretary of the Ministry of Labor for Human Resources Development. This is the Sultanate of Oman's television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Latest satellite images show the beginning of the tropical conditions impacts on parts of the Far Governorate. Omani voters living abroad start casting their votes to elect Shura Council members for the 10th term through Antakhib application. And the National Emergency Management Committee decides to evacuate the residents of Al-Halaniyat Islands in the Far Governorate and the coastal areas in the wilayas of Salalah, Rakhyut and Dalkut. With that, we come to the end of tonight's bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night and stay safe.